Thank you. You may be seated. Tech team upstairs, do we have a portable microphone? I do not see one. Sorry. Okay, good. Because now is the time in our service where we share things that are really important to us, something wonderful that happened, our joy that we want to share and make bigger, or something tragic and hurtful that we hope to make lighter. Thank you. As I was saying, whenever we gather with others, we have the opportunity to share our private joys and sorrows with one another, to hold them together so that the lightness of our joys lifts us all up and the heaviness of our sorrows feels easier to bear. I just ask when I come to you, please say your name so we know. Please rise and bow your spirit to join me in singing the doxology.
Time for the story for all ages. Today's story is The Great Pie Rat Controversy by Naomi King. So once upon a time, there were two pirates by the name of Calico Caesar and Barnacle Betty, and their parrots, Flag and Sail. And it was the parrots, which the pirates carried for good luck, who introduced the two pirates to one another. One day in Cayoeso, sitting on the beach wearing raffia hats while waiting for another ship to come in, Flag recognized Sail. Flag flapped around. "Sail, sail ahoy! It's good, so good to see you again, you old salt." Sail flogged in response because every sailor knows flags flap, sails make the same movement flog. "Why, Flag, my hearty, got a cracker for a dear Polly." "No, no," Flag said. "Squawk!" "That's enough of them bad manners, Flag," said Barnacle Betty. "Watch your tongue and be a good rogue. I do apologize, brother, for my parrot here." Calico Caesar turned toward Barnacle Betty and laughed. "No worries, sister, my sweet. Sail was seeking treasure that weren't hers." And all four of them said at once, "Law of the sea, finders keepers, losers weepers," and burst out laughing. So Barnacle Betty and Calico Caesar got to jawing and weaving, and as soon as you could say Pickle Pete poured out his boots of brine 10 times fast, they were known throughout the whole port to be thick as thieves, which is really saying something when you remember this Cayoeso was full of thieves. Then one day trouble struck. The thunder and capsizing winds of the Bayamo had nothing on how the air sizzled in the features of these two pirates in North Havana turned ugly. All the other well-meaning pirates backed away until these two, with the parrot on their shoulders, turned in slow circles in the center of a big circle where the other pirates were busy taking bets and other parrots were stealing swills of the pirate grog as the fight escalated. "I'm telling you, chocolate be the best and true flavor of pie on a pirate ship," announced Barnacle Betty, and Flag bounced up and down on her shoulder. "Chocolate, chocolate, bonbon, candy, truffles, chocolate chip, chocolate." Calico Caesar wiped his brow and shook his head. "No, no, Barnacle Betty, you're wrong. Strawberry is the best and true flavor of pie on a pirate ship," and Sail bounced up and down on his shoulder. Very nice, very bad and very twice, very nice." So the other pirates elbowed each other and bellowed out hoots and laughter. "You tell them, Betty, or you're both wrong. It's the pumpkin pie that's best," or "Gee, I could really use some pie right now." But Barnacle Betty stepped in very close to Calico Caesar and looked him dead in the eye. "You dare to call yourself a pirate? You know nothing about pie. The problem with strawberry, and the reason it can never be the true flavor of a pie on a pirate ship, is the crust. It gets all soggy. Whoever heard of pirate pie that needs a bilge pump?" Sail bounced up and down on Calico Caesar's shoulder and shouted much to his dismay, "A hit! A very palpable hit!" Flag flew around both pirates, feeling victory under her wing. But Calico Caesar hadn't survived marooning and mutiny and serving under a Captain Sharp for nothing. He leaned closer to Barnacle Betty and growled, You land-lubbing, pop-tart, sneaking fizzy-tizzy. You're mocking the name of pirate. You don't know the first thing about pie, let alone the kind of pie a true pirate seeks after weeks of nothing but salt beef and salt cod and salt mystery meat. A true pirate wants strawberry pie. And if that isn't possible, a true pirate likes a bit of rhubarb strawberry pie with a flaky crust and steam just rising from the lattice work. Well, Barnacle Betty nudged Calico Caesar, and crowed with laughter. Show me proof of such pie. I can whip up chocolate pie in a pan off the main mast and wait your mama's approval. But I don't believe, have never seen, let alone smelled or tasted or heard tale of such pastry of which you speak. All the other pirates gasped and laughed. Now this fight was not a matter of taste, but of belief. And the accusation of a lie had whipped through the air, the cat being out of the bag indeed. And you could smell the tension in the air like you can smell the ozone in the air just before lightning strike. When all of a sudden, a funny creature wearing a rusty black coat and some worn socks and clutching a copy of the dread pirates Robert's Rules of Order to her breast broke through the edge of the crowd. Wait, my brother, my sister, she called in the querulous voice of the preaching pirate. My sister and brother, we're all Jamaica disciples here, all signers of the great universal pirate code, all of us pirateists. Aye, murmured the General Assembly, round Calico Caesar and Barnacle Betty. Aye, squawked Sail, and eye for eye, tooth for tooth, squawked Flag, and until Sail gave him the evil parrot eye and sent him along with the rest. Aye, all of us are pirateists. What does the code say, sister? Asked Barnacle Betty, never letting her eye off of Calico Caesar. What does the code say, sister? Asked Calico Caesar, never letting his eye off of Barnacle Betty. We turn, announced the preaching pirate, to the portion of the code what deals with widows. And all the pirates all around got really quiet. Because if there's something pirates have respect for, it is the pirate code. Elsewise, they would not be called Jamaica disciples, where that code was first worked out and published. The quiet went on a long time as the preaching pirate turned page after page. Maybe it's here, she muttered. Oh, where did that dog's body get off to? And so on as she turned page after page, coming to the end of the book and shaking it. Then an idea hit her upside the head like an oar springing out of an iron-sick oarlock. She turned to page 1 of the code. Principle 5, she in tone observes, what we do things not this way, but with democratic practice. And what wins shall be how all follow, no matter how any voted. Election! Election! Intoned the parrots of every pirate, creating quite a cacophony. You have heard in favor of chocolate and in favor of strawberry already. Are there any other candidates from the floor? And a whole host of pirate-loving pirates lined up to speechify about their favorite flavors of pies. Tears were shed as the tales of tender crust were told, and teeth gnashed about salt, mistakenly substituted for sugar, and broken custards and weevily pie. Finally, the time came for voting as the pirates chanted, "Very nice," and chocolate, and a few mentioned pumpkin, and one parrot shouted quince, but he did always have to be different. The preaching pirate counted out the tallies and stepped into the center. My brothers and sisters, we are indeed pirateists, for we care very deeply about our pies. No offense intended to hand pies or shallow tarts, of course. We are universal pirateists, and the winner is, and then the preaching pirate looked around the circle. Actually, all this practicing democracy has made me very hungry. Anyone feeling a little peckish? The pirates all cheered aloud, for many had discovered the rumbly-tumbly, and they left the field of battle, clapping each other on the back, trading pie recipes. Barnacle Betty clapped Calico Caesar on the back too, nearly knocking Sail off his shoulder in the process, and said, "Can we agree to disagree on the matter of pie, friend, and seek the happier subject of chowder?" Aye, Barnacle Betty, we can disagree in love for chowder's sake, if I can have your little packet of crackers at lunch. Fair enough, friend, she agreed, and they traded the secret chalice handshake of the universal pirateists and went to lunch. So just remember, all of you pie rats, what your flavor of pie matters less than whether you make enough pie for everyone. And now, if you would please rise in body and spirit to join in singing hymn 0318, We Would Be One.
You're hard to follow, Carl. This is a reading, A History of Church, Including Yours, by Sean Neil Barron. One day, your church was born. Maybe it was a gathering of saints called together for the common worship of a wrathful God, ceaselessly praying between bouts of decrying the evil of Christmas or dancing. Or maybe a few brave souls answered a notice in the newspaper, curiosity piqued by the announcement of a religion where free thinking and tolerance were bedrocks. No matter how it happened, your church was born. A gathering of people, humble, caring, anxious, and quirky, all at the same time, who covenanted to be with one another on the journey of life, death, and everything in between. And so it began, a faithful few, beautifully imperfect, called to that central task, that human task of connecting, loving, and serving. It was just a baby, and yet it was thrust deep into the human condition, tasked to hold minds and souls, bodies and hearts, along the roller derby of disease and birth, infighting and joy, and Christmas pageants, sometimes all of those at the same time. They gathered to hear the world broken open for insightful sermons, rejuvenating music, and a community whose fierce devotion to each other's well-being rivaled a mama bear's for her cubs. But it wasn't always like that, of course. There were trying times, and I just don't mean Phyllis or Jack, those stubborn but lovable souls who inhabit the netherworld of committee meetings. No, I mean the trying times, when the church almost split in half over the war, or integration, or when the mill left the town vacant, or when the minister crossed that line and the people couldn't speak about it for decades. But somehow you were still here, still on the town common, still the church that everyone recognizes, still the ones that show up every time you were called on, still using the communion silver until you voted to sell it. New people came and they changed things, small things, big things, things that nobody noticed as it happened, until suddenly it was hard to even recognize anything anymore. That was a hard moment, a tearful moment. And other things changed too. The proclamations about God, once heard from the pulpit, softened. Wrathful became loving. Distant became intimate. Mandatory became optional. After the war, the nursery and RE classrooms were overflowing. Each baby dedicated reminded the church of the incredible beauty of life and the gift this community, all huddled around the baby, would bestow upon this child. The history of your church is more a story of the determination of love to break forth than it is about tie-dye or chalices, sermon discussions, or social justice committee meetings. The history of the church is the history of human enterprise, evolving in its sights and sounds, yet revolving always around its core. The history of your church is the gift of potential and momentum, of baggage and personality. The history of your church is the launch pad from which you spring into action or disarray. Each day, your church is born.
This is an affirmation called I Want to Be with People by Dana Warsnop. Often people say that they love coming to a place with so many like-minded people. I know just what they're getting at, and I know that they're not getting it quite right. I don't want to be with a bunch of people who think just like me. I want to be in a beloved community where I don't have to think like everyone else to be loved, to be eligible for salvation. I want to be with people who value compassion, justice, love, and truth, though they have different thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. I want to be with independent-minded people of good heart. I want to be with people who have many names or no name at all for God. I want to be with people who see me in my goodness and dignity, and who also see my failings and foibles, and who still love me. I want to be with people who feel their interconnection with all existence and let it guide their footfalls upon the earth. I want to be with people who see life as a paradox and don't always rush to resolve it. I want to be with people who are willing to walk the tightrope that is this life, and who will hold my hand as I walk mine. I want to be with people who let church call them into a different way of being in the world. I want to be with people who support, encourage, and even challenge each other to higher and more ethical living. I want to be with people who inspire one another to follow the call of the Spirit. I want to be with people who covenant to be honest, engaged, and kind, who strive to keep their promises and hold me to the promises that I make. I want to be with people who give of themselves, who share their hearts and minds and gifts. I want to be with people who know that human community is often warm and generous, sometimes challenging, and almost always a grand adventure. In short, I want to be with people like you.
This is a prayer titled Circle of Our Love by Paul R. Beadle. Spirit of life and love, justice and peace, the spectacle of foolish pride is ever before us in these times. Indeed, pride has seldom looked so foolish as in our lifetimes. So many people in positions of public trust and responsibility have lost their authority and our confidence spectacularly. And still, they persist in their pride. They lie, they brag, they evade, they lecture. And they seem not to know that this makes matters worse. The example of the humble is also before us. Indeed, humility has seldom looked so wise. So many people in positions of public trust and responsibility, who otherwise would not attract our notice, have gained authority and our confidence by unspectacularly acting with honor. They persist in seeking truth, being accountable, stepping up to their duties with courage, asking the right questions, and without centering themselves, they seem to know that this matters. Seldom has the contrast between foolish pride and honest humility been so clearly before us. Come what may, O Spirit of life, may we own enough humility that we never need be humbled. May we own enough compassion that we are never tempted to humiliate. May we own enough forgiveness that neither the humbled nor the humiliators, who are all so much more, are ever outside the circle of our love. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, so may it be. Amen.
So we choose to welcome the Spirit of life to join in our aliveness and share our resources. This month we are sharing our loose change for social change offering with the Sojourner Truth House. And there's a short description in your order of service. It says, at Sojourner Truth House, Gary residents can access the food pantry, which is one of a few in the area that also provides personal care products. The pantry service also includes a clothes closet for women, providing basic clothing needs. Other services include basic health screenings and referrals to local clinics. So the money of our offering that goes in the tin cups is going to the Sojourner Truth House for the month of June, and the money in the baskets is going to sustain the mission of our congregation. And for those not with us today in person, there is an online link or a texting number so you can give both one-time and regular donations. Could I please have 4 volunteers to take the offering? For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful. Another way we walk together is by joining together for fun and fellowship. So now we have announcements of those things that are on the schedule. We will be hosting an interfaith vigil on June 14th here at the church for immigrant justice. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. for sign making and snacks. The vigil will begin at 7:30. There is a public comment period going on right now to save the Briar East Woods in Hammond. This ends on June 20th at midnight. The Faith and Action Committee is hosting a showing of the Save Briar East Woods documentary on Monday, June 16th. Members of the Dune Dusters group will be present for a discussion and letter writing session after the showing. And a live announcement from Pete.
As mentioned, there's a vigil Saturday, June 14th in the evening, 7 o'clock. There is also the same day, Saturday, June 14th, Sojourner Truth House Walk. My better half, Cindy, is out of town right now. She's organizing that, but several people have already signed up. I think there's a sign up right out here in the parish hall. But it's a very easy walk, and it's very popular with the community. And people, anybody who's been on the walk, can you raise your hand? Okay, you can talk, and it's very fun, right? So please consider 8 o'clock in the morning, Sojourner Truth House on the 14th for the walk.
I have an announcement of a film showing in Valpo on June 24th at 7 p.m. at the Memorial Opera House in kind of observance of the 3rd anniversary of the fall of Roe versus Wade. It's a film called Zwarsky v. Texas, and it will be followed by a question and answer and discussion with Chris Daly of the ACLU of Indiana and a local OBGYN doctor. So if you please come to this, it's a fundraiser for All Options Pregnancy Resource Center, which operates out of Bloomington. And I put the flyer up on our board in the parish hall. And then there are more announcements in your order of service, but maybe I'll just point those out and you can review those. All right. Any other announcements? Oh, Ruth. Next week. True. Okay, so our church service next week, which is June 8th, won't be live in this building, but will be live in, what's the name of the park? Riverview. Riverview in Lake Station as part of Pride Fest. Oh, here it is. Okay, thanks. That's at 10 a.m. And it's at 10. Right. Well, we'll live stream it here at the church as well. Yes, okay, so we will be live streaming it from this sanctuary too. So if you want to come an hour early and watch the live stream from here, that's an option. Okay, and Spirit Circle has been canceled for that week as well. Oh, and today is our annual congregational meeting right after, shortened fellowship hour, okay? So at 12:30, we're back in here. Great. All right, so our hymn now, if you can rise in body or spirit, it's number 1017, Building a New Way, in the teal hymnal. Okay, okay. Yeah. That's good. Our closing words are by Emily Richards, adapted by Pastor Tom, called Our Work Has Just Begun. May we engage mindfully in this work together. The work of holding one another and this community in love. The work of trusting that we are on the right path. The work of believing that what connects us is stronger than what separates us. The work of engaging in that which makes us whole. The work of deeper understanding and commitment. The work of letting go of that which does not serve us. The work of radical inclusion. The work of collective liberation. The work of this beloved community. A beloved community of which we are all a part. A place where we are welcomed, respected, valued, cherished. A place where we belong. Go in peace, amen, and blessed be. invite you to join with me in reciting the words on the screen as we extinguish the chalice. May we continue to carry in our hearts light of truth, warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. They are together again. Please join us in the parish hall for refreshments. Thanks. And then back here.